Absolutely.
We could start this one and get out of here.
Yeah, we ready? We're gonna turn and burn, man. I got a record to beat. What did I do last time?
Oh, you were under an hour, right?
33 minutes, I thought.
Yeah, you were.
43.
Oh, 43 minutes. Is that a record?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
No, I think the record's something like 37 minutes or
8:27 is
something.
around here.
Not bad, huh?
8:27?
Last time.
Oh, so that's over an hour.
That's not a lot, that's not
Hour
a
and
record.
27
That's
minutes.
like,
Darn, that was a
more
lot.
than that.
I knew I was screwing up.
44 minutes for a special meeting.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's what you're thinking.
You can bounce me. I'm ready to be bounced.
And you didn't want to be president.
Chris is falling asleep.
You didn't want to be president.
Yeah.
we gotta bring back the show and
There
tell.
was
We haven't had any pictures.
No, you know,
I don't really know what they
I
are.
had like
Start
5 pieces of pizza.
gathering
That pizza
photos
was just
during the
death
month.
of me. Oh, they're mini
I was
jobber.
doing it, then we just
Yeah.
forgot about it.
Well, you mean appoint somebody else?
I can never,
How are you, Bob?
I'm good.
Ready for your next trip?
I can never get your
Yeah.
guys
So anyway, I just wanted more.
pull back
No,
and
we're
give
gonna
me
do
some
it right now.
context in the pictures.
Oh.
Okay, well, the 11, 12, 13 meeting in Coastside County Water District,
Yeah, 11, 12,
please
13.
come to order. Could you call the roll, please, Joanne?
Certainly. Director Michelson?
Here.
Vice President Reynolds? Director Feldman?
Here.
President Coverdell?
Present. And Vice President Reynolds, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank any and all veterans that are with us or in the audience for making
There
it,
we go, we've got one.
for making it possible for us to have a free, democratic place to live, safe from most danger and terrorism. So thank you very much, veterans. I appreciate it. Public comment, I have no public comment sheets. Anybody want to jump in from the staff? Okay.
Stand in, Bubba.
We already closed it out.
We did.
I took care of it.
Yeah. And so consent calendar, are there any items that anybody
You know, I just had a
wishes-
quick question. You know, on the leak report, we had a plastic service on Terrace that was leaking. Is that true?
Let me look at that.
535 Terrace.
Yeah, because you're right, because we were
Tell me it
supposed to
wasn't
allegedly had taken them all out.
Yeah.
Was it polybutylene?
Well, no, that would have been plastic. We would have classified that as plastic.
That got paid to get removed?
Yeah.
531, 1-inch. Chris, I don't have a good answer for you. Let me ask about that. Let me
Yeah.
inquire about that. I could have caught,
Is that-
you know, that could have been a mistake too. This is a brand new form.
Okay.
It's a brand new form we just launched this month.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we went through the exercise.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
hate to saw cut brand new asphalt.
Right.
Yeah, so hopefully it was just an address mistake. Yeah, let me know, because I was instrumental in squeezing that money out of those guys. We'll have a
Yes,
project that'll
indeed.
probably never get built.
I will definitely look into that.
Thanks.
Good job reading. Yeah, that's a little careful reading.
Yeah, I did pay, no, I do always look at the leak report, because, you know, we still got those 2-inch lines, those plastic service lines, whoever authorized plastic service lines. I mean, it may have sounded cheap at the time,
Yeah. The leak report's always full of holes.
but there we go.
Report full of holes.
That's why he's here.
So Vice President Reynolds, you reviewed the disbursements.
I did, and nothing jumped out at me as egregious and question worthy.
Great. So do I have a motion on consent calendar?
Oh, I'll make a motion for the consent calendar.
I'll second the motion.
Is the motion to approve it?
Yeah.
Oh, great. It's been moved by Vice President Reynolds and seconded by Director Feldman that we approve the consent calendar as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it was unanimous. Meetings attended, are there any meetings to be reported?
Meaningless.
None.
Oh, cool. General business. Dave, will you take it away with the contract with Balance Hydrologics for Denison, San Vicente stream gauging, groundwater monitoring, and data analysis, please?
Okay, well, we've been starting with water year 2011. We've had Balance Hydrologics gauging flows in San Vicente and Denison Creeks at 5 different gauging stations. Gathering these data is an essential part of our efforts in these watersheds to perfect our water rights, design our facilities, keep improving things. We wish that we had started this earlier than we did, but it's essential for us to keep it going. The cost of a year's gauging at the 5 stations is $55,000, and this is a time and materials contract. So this would extend our gauging activities through water year 2014. And this is covered in the funding for the Denison San Vicente water supply development project.
Anybody have comments on the contract or a motion?
Motion to approve contract with Balance Hydrologics for $55,000 for stream gauging.
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Director Michelson, seconded by Vice President Reynolds, that we approve a TM agreement with Balance Hydrologics. Hydrologics or hydrological?
Hydrologics.
Yeah, for 55,000 TM stream gauging. Could you have a roll call vote, please?
Of course.
Thanks.
Director Michelson?
Yes.
Vice President
Aye.
Reynolds? Director Feldman?
Yes.
President Colleen?
Yes. Thank you very much. And now, the item I've really been excited about. How do we fill the vacancy on our board of directors? Looks like we might have a person interested joining us tonight.
Well, we placed this on the agenda after Patrick and I had some conversation about it. At a special meeting on October 30th, the board directed the staff to put out the notice, a copy of which we've attached, soliciting statements of interest in the position and giving a deadline of November 15th. And the board also told us that you wanted to have a meeting to possibly interview and consider the folks who'd applied on November 22nd. There was some discussion, I think, but no real clear direction on the potential role for a committee in doing something with regard to the process. The last time around, the committee did a lot of the HR committee did a lot of the work of putting together the interview and selection protocol, which the board then approved. That, if you decide to use it, is something you could reuse from the previous process, and that's attachment B to the memo. We just put this on the agenda tonight for you to discuss it and potentially give us some further guidance about what you want to do on the 22nd. If you think you want to interview candidates on the 22nd, it would be helpful for us to be able to tell the candidates what to expect. That I can tell you, just give you an update, even though the deadline is this Friday, we have expressions of interest from 6 people who've officially told us their hats are in the ring, and potential interest from at least 3 more.
Could you circulate that, or is that?
I don't think there's any.
Can you tell us who?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Can you just read out the names? Is that?
James Howie, Kim Crawford, Alex Fielding, David Shore, Aaron Baca, and Arnie Glassberg.
And then there were 3 that verbally communicated or something?
Right, who haven't written yet.
So were these like written requests?
Yes.
Oh, cool, great.
So these are.
That's
This is the
fantastic.
official list. So it looks like we would have at least 6 and possibly as many as 9 candidates by the 15th.
When
Maybe
we,
more.
when we went through the process last time, 15 minutes per candidate with 3 minutes opening and 3 minutes per question. So that would end up being a fairly long meeting, wouldn't it? Interviewing 9 people is going to take some real time. And last time, I think, didn't we draft 2 questions each?
Mm-hmm.
And we, so there was kind of like a backup in case there was an overlap or something.
Right.
And the questions weren't really shared among each other. We just sort of showed up with our own stuff and asked, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's going to be a long meeting. It's going to be a Friday. And we hadn't really established a time on Friday, right?
Didn't
we
we agree
did.
we wanted to start early?
Did we?
Yeah, I thought we said we wanted to
Said
start
early.
What'd we say here, 5 PM?
Okay, and does that work for everyone? Can everyone, all 4 of us be here? Friday the 22nd at 5 o'clock?
Child, I mean,
Yeah.
Fridays are typically a day I don't work, so.
Because I think especially if you think about 9 people, 20 minutes each, that's 3 hours, right? And then I, for one, would really like to, I mean, I'd sort of like to make the decision at that time. You know,
I'm just worried we'll be tired and done with the whole process.
well, I'm worried about that too, especially with 9 people. That's a lot of,
And the day we're talking,
it's Friday the 22nd. Are you available? on
Yeah, I'm
that?
fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
I mean-
And Chris, you are too, right?
From Find That Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
it's looking clean on my calendar.
All right. Well, you know, I think that we should work out the details now and not go back to a committee for input, because I think we can establish it sitting here at this minute. So I think we
There-
should
There's
follow
some
the old
discussion
format.
about having an HR committee meeting in advance to review the paper and for them to sort out the approach. I'm not sure what was agreed, that was mentioned, right?
Well-
That's probably not necessary if in fact that's the
Who
approach.
was on the HR committee with Hannigan?
Chris and,
Me
Chris
What was
and,
it?
Hannigan.
and me.
Directors Hannigan and Michelson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Would you want to be involved in the HR committee?
it probably might not be a good idea because I'm not sure I'll be here the day that they were deciding to meet. I'm out until the.
Oh, that's right.
Right, so that might be a problem for me.
Would you have a willingness or desire to be involved in the HR
Yeah.
committee and kind of do some pre-work?
Yep.
And do you have time for that, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
So what would be a good time for you guys to get together? We're gonna receive these
5:15.
on Friday the 15th.
So we had a little heads up time between when the meeting was on
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah, I mean, I like early mornings, so I can have my day,
Okay. Meet at Ken's Coffee Shop.
8 o'clock.
Just don't let me sit around there. Gotta get out of there.
We need to, we normally notice a committee meeting as a public session.
Oh, so we should
Yeah,
meet
you
here?
should meet, you
But
really
it
should
has
meet
to be
there.
within the district,
Yeah.
and accessible to the public.
Right, so just while we're talking about this, so you have a committee that has a vacancy, the HR committee. So one alternative would be to
Right.
fill that vacancy by making another appointment, and then you'd have your standing committee, which is your HR committee, because that's standing jurisdiction, and then you would notice a public meeting and do that. Another alternative is to appoint an advisory committee, because this is gonna be a committee that's gonna have a very, if I understand what you're looking
Right.
for, is gonna have a very defined task of helping look at the process for how you're gonna go through selecting the candidates once you get all the statements, and providing a recommendation to the full board at some point, presumably at the beginning of the November
Right.
22nd meeting. So you, President, could appoint an advisory committee to do that, just 2 directors for that specific task, and then that advisory committee would end once you're done
Right.
making the appointment. An advisory committee isn't technically subject to the Brown Act, but you could say, hey, advisory committee, we want you to treat your
Yeah.
meetings as being subject to the Brown Act, so that would mean agenda, notice, and advising the media outlets. So that's another option for you
Mhm.
as well.
Okay. Well, I think I like the idea of it being a narrow purpose committee.
Right.
And so that once we have a full board and we go into the next year and the new president is in charge, that person can, set up the new HR committee.
Oh, that's the big, yeah, that's the big
And-
power of the president, yeah.
Well, I think it's a really important,
Yeah.
an important job. And I would personally like, if you guys are willing to do it, I would like to appoint Vice President Reynolds and Director Michelson to be that special purpose committee, to review the applications and come back with a process that we're going to follow, and to report that to us on the 22nd at
Right,
the beginning of the
5
meeting,
to 5 o'clock.
so that we know how we're going to proceed. And I would really appreciate it if you would adhere to the Brown Act, because I think that it makes us much more transparent, and I think it
That's
holds
good
us
with
to
me.
a high standard. I think
So
it's
meet here
important.
then?
Yeah, I'm fine, yeah, no, I'm fine with here, yeah.
Yeah. And then, Dave, could you prepare the announcements and the?
Yes,
What we
we'll
need
notice
is the
we'll
public
notice the meeting.
announcements.
Yeah, he'll
We'll
notice.
find the time that works for you.
I just
and notice
penciled
the
in
meeting.
Wednesday morning, at 8 AM. Does that work for you? Is that
The
early enough?
20th?
Yeah, I put down the 20th.
No, that's perfect.
Right.
Great,
Okay.
okay. And then, in terms of these items, would you guys, as the special purpose committee, like to have our input, or would you like to have a free shot at this? Because I'm game either way, I'm fine with it. So there's a format that we use.
Yeah.
And I think it worked well, and we could discuss each one of these items, or you guys could go over it and come back with a recommendation.
I kinda liked how it worked last time.
So do I.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought it was,
Yeah.
considering we were coming up with something brand new on the fly, I think we did a pretty good job. And
No one was hurt.
So then, should we just modify these, and would you like our input and say we all agree that this is a great
Yeah,
format?
no, yeah, now's the time, if you had any,
I think it's a good formula. It worked best,
Cool. And please don't feel limited by this. If you guys in your meeting have something that you think would enhance it or improve it, I think that's great. But I thought we arrived at a wonderful replacement, and we got to interview everybody. I think it worked really well. And I didn't see your name on the list, but I'm assuming there's an interest here, so.
I'm here tonight to form an opinion.
And I don't know how the rest of you guys feel, but I'm honored to think that, as difficult as it's been in the past, a couple of elections, to really, field a lot of people running for the office. I think it's great to see so much interest. I'm really excited about it. I think it's terrific. Now, the only other thing that I'm interested in is, will we make a decision on the 22nd? Or do you want to wait until the 22nd and decide if we want to make the decision or not?
Well, the question, from a process point of view, this is the process. If these guys meet on the 20th, look over the questions, decide they're the right questions, look at the candidate set, decide how to approach. Somebody has to notify people well in advance of the 22nd who are on the list that they're all going or not going to interviews that night. So you're already making a commitment because they have to be scheduled in advance. You can't do that on the 20th. I think it's probably late.
Right.
So the question is, does the interview happen the following week, like 23rd or 4th or something? But there's got to be
Yes.
enough time for them to meet.
well, didn't we already
How did we
notice that
decide? Yeah,
potential candidates be available on the 22nd?
be available, but not, yeah, they'd be available, but he'd have to schedule them. Again, if they're available because
Well,
that's
no,
what you
I'll-
asked them to be,
All we said was we were going to evaluate the statements of interest then,
right?
and that we may make an appointment to fill the vacancy. And
Yeah,
that's all our
but that they
notice
would be
says.
available for interview.
May interview is what your.
May
notice
interview,
says.
yeah,
Yeah.
so.
On November 22nd.
Yeah, so there's been
at
notice,
5.
there's, the
Okay,
candidates
then
have
if-
been noticed at
Then if
22nd,
between the
to
20
be
and
on.
the
That was-
22nd, they're told that,
You
that's
crafted
fine.
it per our
Is that enough
direction.
time for you?
Well,
That's
Dave and I did it pursuant to the direction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's
it's a
what-
good,
that
it's a
was-
good articulation.
direction as I recall.
Yeah, and that was in your.
But the
notice.
board would be under no obligation on the
Right.
22nd to
That's what I'm-
interview or to make the appointment.
Right.
And you could decide, you could evaluate the expressions of interest and what had been submitted on the 22nd. you, as has been pointed out, you could decide that you're not going to interview and make a decision just based on the written submissions. You could decide that you're going to interview and set a date for that. It just has to be before the 8th of December.
Well, and that's what I'm
To
trying
make the appointment, you have to make the appointment before the 8th of December.
and that's what I'm driving at, is we are all gonna have tight schedules, you know, the following week, right? And so I think that it might be smart for us to try to set the timing now, so we plan on it and we do it.
On the 22nd.
Well, I really believe we should interview on the 22nd, unless.
Yeah, absolutely, that was my intention,
Okay.
and possibly appoint.
And possibly
Yeah.
appoint, correct.
Yeah, because like you just pointed out, it was the calendar driving it, because next week all bets are off, we go into holidays and then things get crazy, and
Yes.
we have a statutory deadline, right? I mean, we have to,
So I just think I think we need to be clear with the people that are showing interest, that they really want to be available on the 22nd. It's going to be a random interview process. We're going to discuss how it's going to go down earlier in the meeting, that's what I think. And then we're going to interview at least. And we may very well interview and then decide, or if we feel we have to, you know, we need a little more time to think about it, then we may pick like the 29th or, but that's going to be the holiday period, so it's, you know what I mean?
are we even open on the 29th?
Just one question about, I didn't see it here in the outline. Did the board give because it says that the interviews are conducted individually.
Yes.
And a request would be made that they not sit here, but by the way, the Brown Act would allow anybody to sit in anybody else's interview if they would like. Did the board
When?
give
See the ones you finished.
candidates
No, the ones you
time
finished.
for when they were getting interviewed? Because we just went over this, there could be 6 to 9.
Yeah, that's what I was just,
And then there
that's
was
what I meant.
15 minutes, and I
policy-wise.
heard 20 minutes, so there's this 2 to 3 hour window. Did the board give people?
We
No,
did.
they,
No, it was
everybody
just all done
assembled.
right at the beginning of the
Everybody
meeting.
Yeah,
assembled at the
they hung
beginning.
around. I
And then
mean,
it was a random selection for interviews.
and were there 5, I think, 4 or 5, I think. It's-
5.
So it took a long time.
Took a while.
And I think it's a little bit of an imposition, but I don't know that we can be more meticulous than that. I mean, I guess that you guys could decide to schedule the times in your meeting on Wednesday. You could say, you know,
Yeah.
look, let's
It's called
do.
Welcome to Public Service and hanging around for 2 hours.
Yes.
Can I ask Pat a question of clarification? Last time we did ask the candidates to leave the room during the interview process.
Yeah.
And so we're not in violation of the Public Brown Act, though, correct?
You could certainly request that
But they don't have to comply.
that they not be in the room, but you cannot require them to leave.
Well,
Because,
we told them that they had the ability
Right.
to stay and that we would appreciate if they would leave.
Right.
But they didn't have to.
that's correct.
Yeah, I
So
think
that
we,
would be
I
the
think we
law.
were pretty clear.
Yeah, as long as you're clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't an exclusion deal.
No, and the public could, I guess, stay and sit through it. I don't remember that we had any public.
Nobody
It was
They,
just
they
the,
certainly could.
yeah, it was just the candidates who stayed.
Yeah, I know,
We
it was just, it was a
didn't
fairness
stay.
issue, just to.
Yeah, because if you heard the answers, yeah.
Yeah, and go out and Google the answer.
But the whole selection process must be done in an open meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Which it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We just asked the candidates to not listen to the other candidates' answers.
Well, I think there was a reason for that, and that was, there was an interest on our part of knowing what people knew about the district too, you know, how much do you know?
Yeah.
or
How
have
many
you
gallons
thought
in
about
an
it?
acre foot?
I thought the math question that
What's the rate on a Lifeline water connection? No. But, so I think it's great. I'm very excited, and I think, I just feel really glad to know that there are, you know, competent people and a lot of competent people that are interested in looking at the job. I think it's great. It's a great time for the district, great opportunity. So do we need more direction, or is the special committee understanding the mission and timing, and general manager has clear direction?
So is the direction, as I understand it, is that we should tell the candidates to be here at 5 o'clock on the 22nd, present themselves for an interview. Is that- is
Should
that
we
right?
give ourselves 15 minutes
Yeah.
Should we tell them
we-
5:15?
Yeah, we had talked about giving us, letting us assemble prior.
Yeah. Or 5:30, half an hour? or
Yeah,
something?
because, you know, and, you know, first guy, no expectation that all 6, 8, 10, or whatever be here at 5:30, you know. We got 92 to contend with, so, but certainly start assembling at whatever time we agree to.
But I think we need a little time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
otherwise
so
we're not
we
gonna get a
did,
report.
as I recall, we did build in time for us.
Yeah.
And we can pencil that out on Friday as well.
Mhm.
I mean, Wednesday during our meeting.
One of the questions that I had too was, you know, last time the format was each person asked a question in the interview, right? And one thing I'd like you guys to think about is, do we really have to each ask a question? You know, is it possible that in one interview, 2 questions is enough or reasonable? I mean, is there a way to build that, or is that not fair?
Well, I just kind of like every
How does
candidate
it-
being asked the same questions, the
Okay.
same 4 questions. Just so we could really kind of compare, you know, apples to apples, or, you know, responses.
Okay.
You know, because we might tap into someone's area of expertise or catch someone flat-footed or you know. that's-
And are we gonna try to make any kind of little scoring chart? You know,
was
four,
actually thinking that was
four
a good
questions,
idea
it's a
for the
1 plus.
board members.
Yeah, and
minus.
that's, yeah, and then maybe we could come with, you know, some kind of ranking system and,
Because if the board members each had a copy of each of the questions and then a column for each of the candidates, we could kind of score. Because just as Chris is saying, we can then compare, you know, this person had real challenges with this question, whereas this person, this was a drop dead answer. So that seems like that helps organize us a little better. I also think that there's some benefit to a scoring matrix that makes it more impartial and more mathematical than, you know, that person was wearing a nice tie. And so I think there is an advantage to sort of a scoring matrix.
Well, I was wondering if we had like a plus or a minus system, and, you know, a person got a 4 pluses, but I don't really want to tabulate. And then we'd need an accounting firm to tabulate, right?
So
So,
we had some software written to do it.
yeah. Okay, so we'll leave that up to the special.
yeah, there you go. Make our job even harder, thank you. We'll come up with
Sounds
something.
good.
But I mean, I think it's real, because when there's, you know, 4 people or 5 people, it's a little bit easier to remember than 9, right? I mean, 9's a lot, that's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people. So that, you know, just sort of opens up the idea to.
Yeah, we want to be
is there a
fair to
second
the
interview,
last
right?
guy, you know, because like, you know, we're
Mhm.
blurry-eyed about the last guy, so it's,
Yeah.
And how
or
do we,
guide, I say that in gender-neutral terms.
do we take them as they come? Do we make them draw straws for a position? Is there a requirement that they're on time?
We
Random.
drew names from a hat or
Right.
whatever last
Okay,
time
cool.
to determine the order.
Most people were here.
That order of the interviews will be random, so we try to do it randomly.
Okay.
From the subcommittee level, I have enough direction, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I agree.
All right.
Just to summarize, for the record, the president appointed Director Reynolds and Michelson as an advisory committee to go over the selection procedure and process for filling the vacancy on the candidates, and requested that their meeting be comply with the Brown Act. And that you've already set your special meeting for November 22nd at 5 PM, but if candidates ask your general managers to tell them that they need to be here at 5:30, did I hear that right, or 5:15? Just, because they're obviously welcome to come at any time during the meeting, because they can come here at 5 if they're interested to hear the discussion, but you wanted them here at a certain time that I heard was later than that.
Well, I just wondered if we wanted a little time, or should we just let them come at 5 and it doesn't matter if it's an open meeting? I
We
guess it doesn't matter.
we will let all the candidates know. I think it would be good to let them know a week beforehand that they'll be expected to come and interview on the 22nd around 5. But we can take whatever guidance the committee wants to give us at 9 AM on Wednesday and pass that around to the, and we won't have to issue the notice for the meeting until the end of the day on Thursday, basically, so.
Dave, I think it would be helpful if you let the candidates know that we do have, at this point in time, we have 6 candidates, so they understand that it isn't just 2 people that we're picking, it's, we really will be choosing amongst at least 6, and that it will take some time. Because I'd hate for them to show up thinking they were just gonna walk in and say, I'm here and I'm sober, pick me. Yeah, you know what I mean? I think some of them may not know.
But I think
what to
sobriety is
expect.
important.
Okay, fine, for example, but the, you know, it will be an event.
Last year, you put out a note, I believe, on the meeting, and you had an attachment with the candidates' information, if I'm not mistaken. They are usually the other guys with, is that true or not?
My recollection isn't as good as yours.
It's not?
I can't
I
remember.
thought
Movie, TV shows.
she actually had attached to the,
After the deadline, send them all.
Dave, no, I'm correct. When the
The
notification,
directors.
when the
We'll be
notice,
sending it to the
Yes.
directors,
when
yeah.
the notice went out, it had all of the attachments of the.
Oh, okay.
So
it
they
had all of
know
the
that there will
submissions.
be a you know, how many other folks are coming, who they are.
Good.
It's not a secret, no, this was open and
But
transparent.
they'll know that by the,
Is that true? That's what
by
I
the
did.
end of the day on Thursday, by the notice deadline for
Right.
Friday's
So
special
they'll
meeting.
know that,
But we have answered that question for anybody who has asked.
right,
Okay.
sure. It's-
So
it's
anybody who
public
has
record.
called us and asked, well, how many people are there? We answer the question.
That's great. Yeah, I think we just want to be as fair as possible.
Yeah, open, fair, all inclusive.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
that's, my goal is just to make all those people feel equally welcome and equally important and, you know, thank them for their offer to do public service. I mean, I know the benefits are amazing, but, you know, it's a lot of energy. So I think it's great. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you very much for bringing it to our attention, letting us look again. And, boy, this next item is really exciting, isn't it? Huh?
We got a letter saying we're getting an outreach award. I'll let Kathleen talk about that. She's the one here who's reaching out. The rest of us kind of try to keep our heads
Mind
under
your
our
own
shells. But I guess they'll be giving us an award at the
I think
Aqua Conference in Los
MWSD
Angeles.
isn't gonna be winning this anytime soon, huh?
Who's gonna be flying out there to pick it up? That's what I wanna know.
Where is it?
Well, I'm going to the conference. I thought maybe Kathleen should go down and accept it
Yeah,
for us.
I think that sounds great. She's putting in the effort.
Better public face for the district.
Yeah. She knows all the right speak too, the wet speak. Congratulations. Do you wanna speak about it?
Cucamonga.
Sounds like you're sort of being
Well, it
summed up.
caught us by surprise. It's not something we applied for, but the district participates in Aqua's outreach committee,
Oh, okay.
specifically emphasizing social media efforts, and
So how many Twitter followers do you have?
haven't checked lately.
That's a good answer.
We have more Twitter followers than we do Facebook followers. So,
Uh-huh, for those of you stock players out there, interesting. Okay, thank you.
Twitter seems to be beating out Facebook on that. But so I think that's the origin of this award, is our participation with the committee and our efforts to use social media to reach out to our customers.
No, that's great. No, that's not easy. Only 10 of them in the whole of Aqua. That's good.
Yeah, I'm really proud of
Yeah,
you.
yeah, that's great.
Thank you very
Who's
much.
on the outreach committee?
Do you want to go ahead and follow up with your report ahead of Mr. Gustino, since you're already at the podium, or?
Sure.
Yeah, the outreach committee is composed of who, I'm sorry? The outreach committee that you mentioned.
For Aqua?
No, the outreach committee, you said that you were a member of that committee.
Of Aqua has a special committee.
Right.
Yeah, and so, I participate in that.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah,
Who else is
just over the telephone. I've never been in person, because
Oh, okay.
I don't go to the Aqua
You know, good.
meetings or anything, so it's just been over the telephone.
Okay, so that, I was wondering how this happened, and I know how ACWA works, and I didn't know exactly how they got wind of
So
all
I
this.
think, and
No, that's cool, that's
we're
great.
probably the only ones from Region 5 that
Oh.
participate, so maybe by
Okay.
default.
No, I don't think it's quite that.
But it's still,
I don't think so.
We'll take the award.
We'll
Hey,
take it.
Bob.
Maybe,
Talk about taking the wind out of her sails.
No, no,
Aw.
Does that mean that Disney
I wasn't
World's
doing it
off?
for that reason. No, that's an honor. There's only 10 people selected in all of ACWA's organization.
It's
And she
fantastic.
might get to go to this ACWA meeting because she's a award recipient.
I think
has
she
to be
should
one
go.
of them. She has to go.
I think
cool.
so. You gotta be
you.
there to get the award. I think
Right.
it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
if I
it's-
can get out of other commitments, then maybe that'll.
You mean personal commitments?
No, other business commitments.
Well, of course not.
I can assign it to other staff, maybe, I don't know.
Maybe someone will volunteer.
So, for my water resources report, I just reported on the Pumpkin Festival. So again, we participated on that Saturday of the event, and we shared our information table with Sam, and it was very successful. We have free drinking water, tap water available, and that's a huge success. It draws a lot of people to our table, and then we try to show them the other information that we have. And people are very thankful to get free water instead of having to pay $1 for bottled water. They can fill their glasses and their water bottles at our table. The other item was just an update on the fact that California building standards, specifically Cal Green, are going to change as of January 1st. So this will initiate us to look at the indoor water use efficiency ordinance and make sure that there's an alignment between the green code. And so I'm waiting to see what the city and the county adopt first before I attempt at revising our ordinance. And once I get an idea of what direction they're gonna go, then I'll have a better idea of how to proceed with our efficiency ordinance. So maybe we might not come back to the board until January for that. So any questions?
How's that rainfall looking up in the Sierra?
Well, they've got some snow, but we haven't gotten rain down here, so it's looking probably a little bit better in the Sierra than it is locally here. So we'll wait and see. It's not starting off very good.
I was in Tahoe this last week to work on a city water supply pump that the lake level has fallen too low for them to continue drawing water from the lake.
Not good.
Yeah, there's a lot of beach on the lake.
Yeah, Tahoe's looking low.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the dry, calendar year, if you just look at calendar year, it's dismal. If you
No,
look
it
at
is
water
dismal.
year, it's a little bit better, but if you're just looking at calendar year 2013, it's the driest we've ever had. So.
164 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. Thank you very much. And it looks like there's going to be an overall winner on the Aqua Award on December 6th. And you'll be there, for sure?
December 6th.
Isn't that what it says?
I think they have the date wrong.
It should be the 5th.
It's because Thursday's the 5th.
The 5th, yeah,
Oh.
it should be
So
December
I think
5th.
there's an error in that
There is
an error. Okay.
announcement. It's
It's the Thursday
Pretty sure it's
meeting, the
Thursday.
general meeting.
Because I got a feeling overall's coming our way.
Well, it's
this
certainly outreach, that's for sure. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know anybody doing a
tweeting
better
like
job
crazy.
than I've done.
Not treating
Thank
like
you
mad.
very much.
Good luck on that, yeah, that'd be great.
And Joe, Castino, Superintendent of Operations, could you give us your report?
Yeah, we had a number of things happening. Granada Tank 2, we're in the middle of our renovation. We're still in phase 1, which is we're setting it up so that we can take the tank out of service. The temporary tank is installed. They're presently working on the plumbing to the temporary tank and some of the permanent plumbing. and it's steady. We suffered through, we went back and forth on paint submittals for the last 2 weeks, but I finally got that resolved. So we're making progress there. Jim Teeter will be by tomorrow to
Oh,
look
the
at the
Phantom
site.
Jim Teeter.
Yeah, he's still around. We finished our 5th year of dredging this year. And combined with the clearing of the stream channel, things are looking really good over at Denniston, and we're anxious to get started as soon as we get some water. We're kind of chomping on the bit because we really want to get, see what this plant can do. The San Benito pipeline is complete, without too much pain and suffering. I do want to just say one thing. In my report, I talk about the hydraulic model, which is something that is required just to predict our demands for the pump station for Denniston. But during the process, we did have a serious brown water event, and I'm quite embarrassed about it. And the reason why we had this brown water event is just because we need to flush our pipes in Half Moon Bay. We haven't done so in many years. And I had set up a program, a unidirectional program that was ready last year. Personnel issues, whatever, we couldn't do it last year. We do plan on doing a unidirectional flushing program, hopefully this month or next. We're not gonna wait for the rains for that one. We're just gonna do it. We have to clean these pipes out. So that whenever a hydrant is used or hit, we don't have an event that lasts for 2
Did we
days.
get calls on this one?
Many, about 50.
Wow.
In which area?
Right in Half Moon Bay here. We had unidirectionally flushed El Granada a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I remember that when you initiated that program.
Yeah, and so things aren't quite as severe there now. We do get a little brown water event, but nothing like we used to. And I predict that we should flush the entire system every 5 years. And the program that I have set up is that we do a section once a year for 4 consecutive years. Then 1 year we don't do anything, and then we start over. Well, we should be starting on El Granada next year, but we haven't caught up. We haven't done the greater Half Moon Bay yet. So I told John Davis that we got to get this going now.
Is it only a color issue, or is it actually a chemical issue as well?
No, it's just sediment in the pipe.
Oh, okay, but it's not a water quality issue. I mean, it's
Well,
not.
it is when your water comes out brown, but
Well, it
It's
looks.
just primarily iron?
It's
Is there
iron.
anything else?
yeah, iron and manganese oxides.
It's good for you.
Your body will use whatever iron it wants, and then it will discharge the rest. But
Your sheets, not so much.
yeah, the
In
sheets.
the washer, yeah.
But we
We
do
do
have
pay for
stuff that we
somebody's
give to
comforter.
people. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was in the expense report.
Any other questions? I'll be glad to entertain them.
The question that I had for you is, what does it mean, air binding? Pillarcitos pipeline.
Oh, the
San Francisco.
air is getting into that. The difference between the water level in their aqueduct and the pipe that we have to convey it down to us is very minimal. And they do not have good control on the aqueduct level because they're operating with Civil War era valves up there.
Right.
And every attempt that we've made so far to keep that water level high and actually to lower the pipe as much as we could without doing any trenching have heretofore been unsuccessful. So we went and spoke with SFPUC, and they are committed to looking at that century-old valve, well, the valve is older than 100 years, and refurbish it. They should be doing that this week.
Oh, good, great.
Yeah, it's an ancient weir structure, and there's no control. So they're really committed. They need us to use Pelocitos
Sure,
water.
Sure.
And at this point, if our demand is greater than 800 gallons per minute, we just can't do it.
Yeah. What's our maximum if we get it fixed?
Well, our maximum with the original pipe was 1,600 gallons per minute.
Oh, great.
We're actually hoping for more than that.
Oh, great. Yeah, so the 1,000 is really about half of what we're hoping for.
That's an accurate statement.
Great. Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
So
I'm even
hopefully,
working on this
within the
for-
next month or two, I'll be able to put in my report that we're on the Pelocitos.
You've been working on this for a while, right?
We
This has been
we
in-
haven't been working on it constantly because
knew about this
SFPUC
for
is
some
very
time.
slow.
Yeah, I was gonna
SFPUC
say, it's been
Yeah.
on
They
the-
got a couple things going on.
They have a few things going on, and we finally.
They've been really good about working with us. They've been very
Yeah, it's in their best
responsive.
interest also.
Yeah, we have no complaints about them.
Thank you very much. Any other items or additions to the agenda?
No.
No record, no record.
Well, I'd like to thank you all for attending the 11, 12, 13 meeting of the Coastside County Water District Board of Directors, and I'll never be able to say that again. The meeting's adjourned.